Hey, everybody, we are back today. Double segment. Super excited to have my next guest here. None other than the beautiful, lovely, anointed Karin Haysbert. Hey, Karen.
Hey, Queen. Hey,
Look,
how
let me.
are you? I'm gonna
I'm
tell you
doing
that intro is a whole vibe. I was like, uh-oh,
okay.
oh,
Okay.
oh, oh, nothing
Well,
vibe. I love
listen,
it.
girl. First of all, I love Karen. Me and Karen met on Clubhouse by way of our one and only sister over in Okinawa. Wow, I always say Okinawa. Wow,
Yay.
Okinawa, Japan. Tracy Dixon with Marriage Miles. So when she watches this, shout out to Tracy. But that's how I met Karen, and our hearts knitted. And not
Mhm.
only did we become sister friends on the throughout the what on the other side of the United States, but also because of the fact that you and your husband Brian were able to participate in our Masters of Marriage, the anthology. So thank you for that.
Yes.
And
Thank you for that.
yes, God has been so good, and we're both doing marriage ministry. And if you all are looking at the title, this is just going to be a whole conversation of what a hoe can teach your wife. Okay,
Come on here.
okay. But anyway, before we get into that, I want Karen you to introduce yourself to the listening audience.
All righty. So, hey everyone, I am Karin Haysbert, known as the Hot Holy Happy Marriage Specialist. I'm just super excited to be here with you, Nisha. Love you to pieces. Love what you all are doing for marriage so much. I am a wife of almost 26 years this year. Yes, we made it. We made it. My wonderful husband Brian, we have been married. We live in just outside of Baltimore, Maryland, Charm City, and we are the parents of three children. Not really little children no more. 32, 20, and 18. And I am just so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you. And I wanted to just bring out that, first of all, Karen says, hello, Queens. And I love that. I mean, like every time we would get into a room together and we talk, hey, Queen, tell
Yeah.
us what made you just start calling the women queens and the men kings, because she's done both.
Absolutely. So I am a PK. I like to say that I was affectionately born on a pew, fourth generation minister of the gospel in my family. And so I've been in church, around church, been in ministry for many years. But when God called me to go and do what he called me to do, it was like, and he really began to minister to me about one day I was sitting just meditating on the word and just talking to God about, God, you are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And I was just going back and forth with him, just sharing about that. And I was like, well, God, since we're women, can we be queens? Can we be queens for Christ? And it was like, oh. And that was where really the Lord dropped in my spirit to call what it is that he was going to use me to do, Queens for Christ,
Yes.
because we are royal priesthood. We are the royal priesthood. And so I began to address myself as royalty, God's royalty, and the women and men that God has allowed to cross my path. Because it's funny how, I'm thankful my father, God rest his soul, he sent his girls, me, my mom, and my sister, on a girls' trip. We went to London and Paris, and we actually got to see the Queen when we were there.
Oh, wow.
And I remember the air that they had. There was this sense of, and I don't know if they were really confident, but they looked confident. They
Hmm.
looked focused. The regalness of it. And I remember I got these things to bring back and take to my daughters. I used to homeschool then. And I said I wanted them to look at what that royalty looked like and let them know that you are even a greater has come.
Yes.
You are God's queen.
Yes.
You
Yes.
are his baby girl, and you have the right and the ability to hold your head up and know that God is your father, the
Yes.
King of Kings
And the
and the
Lord.
Lord of Lords.
Come on, girl.
It was that piece of identity
Hmm.
that I didn't have growing up, that I wanted to make sure that my daughters had, and that God began to minister to me about, to minister to the queens that he brings into my sphere.
Wow. What a beautiful testament of who
Mhm.
God has called us to be. And just the reminder alone. Well, I know you guys are waiting on what we're going to talk about today. So Karen is the author of, come on, hold that book up, girl. What a
Ooh,
hoe can teach your wife. Do y'all see the thong and the stilettos? Okay. So let me
yes,
just
ma'am.
so first of all, let me just be honest and transparent. So I talked to
Mhm.
Karen and I don't remember when we talked or whatever, but I know I was struggling with saying the title of the book. And I said, why am I struggling with saying the title of the book? It's not my book. I can say what the title of the book. And I was advertising the book and everything. I do have the book upstairs, but I was like
Mhm.
advertising the book and stuff. And I was like, okay, so y'all gonna really want to talk about this today? And I was like, why
Mhm.
am I struggling? So first of all, let's talk about the title. Tell
Okay.
us why it's called What a Hoe Can Teach Your Wife.
Okay, so first things first, Queen.
First
Like
thing first.
you
Come on.
were not the only person struggling
Okay. Okay.
with the
Thank you.
title. I was struggling with the title, right?
Okay.
So what happened was I was reading in a scripture and about this woman, and I mean, she was just captivating to men. I mean, and I'm looking at her and how she's moving and why they were so drawn, and then I just closed it and I said, ain't that what a hoe can teach a wife? And immediately I heard the Lord say, that's the title of your next book. Because I'd written my first book, Queen Arise. And I said, devil, I bind you in the name of Jesus. Like, I'm not calling this book that. And he's like, no, that's the title of your next book. I was like, no, God, why can't we just talk about the hot, holy, happy marriage? Like,
Yes,
he
yes.
said, no, that's the title of your book. I was like, oh my God. And I have to say, it was not my brightest hear and obey moment because I
Ah,
struggled with that well over a year. I was like, I'm not these church people. Like, remember, I'm a PK. I got the scars on my back about PK life.
yes, yes, yes.
I was like, no, God, no. I really was so terrified. I thought I was over church folk. I wasn't. I
Mm,
wasn't. And so when the rubber hit the road and I finally said yes, you know that Shekinah glory ministry.
yes,
Yes, Lord.
yes, yes.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Tell
I
me, oh yes, yeah.
I was I was going to I have a dear friend in Orlando has a huge church down there and she was having a women's conference and her women's ministry had asked me to be on a panel like this panel and I'm thinking, all of these high roller people and I'm like, okay, like Shaquille O'Neal's mother was there, this woman who's a big financial planner in the area and somebody who's in government and me. And I'm like, okay. So I called my girlfriend and she's a pastor and I said to her, girl, I think I want to pre-sell my second book, right? And she's like, oh, okay, well, what's the title? And I paused. Like this is my good girlfriend. I paused and I was like, what a hook teacher. She said, what? I said, what a hook teacher wife. Like this is how I'm saying it to her. One of my best friends on the phone. And she said, what? I said, what a hoe can teach a wife. She bust out laughing. And so I was like, girl, that's what God said to call it. And I was like, I don't know. And she said, if God told you to do it, you better do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. So I called my book designer, cover designer. I told him what I wanted. I mean, I picked it out. I laid it out myself. Listen, I need this like in 2 days.
Mm.
He mocked it up, sent it to me. I go down to the conference and I'm literally like in her church office, just running out something on cardstock. Like I had nothing.
Wow. Wow.
Literally propped that up on the table. So I'm on the panel, right? And they're, everybody's introducing themselves and, I'm doing the usual pleasantries, blah, blah, blah. I'm Karin Haysbert. And she yells from the front row, tell them the name of your new book. And I'm like, no, she is not doing this to me.
Right
Not
now.
that I
Right
didn't have it on my table, and so I said, what a hoe can teach a wife. 500 women went, oh.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And so then they start cheering. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness.
So I want to talk about first of all, were you reading in Proverbs or were you reading the Song of Solomon? Where were you reading?
Proverbs.
You was reading Proverbs. Okay,
Hmm.
so I know that a girlfriend of mine wrote a book, she teaches a message, The Spirit of a Strange Woman. And
Hmm.
so I think about that. Shout out to Tara Lynn Franklin. But I just wanted to say, first of all, you identified this woman in the Bible as a hoe. And so what can a hoe teach a wife? I want to dive right into that because first of all, you don't want to call women that, right?
Hmm.
But if you walk like that and you talk like that, then that's probably so. Look, anybody that's watching this that think that that's your lifestyle, you need to shift. But
Hmm.
anyway, so tell me a little bit about what was the teaching part.
Yes.
What's the
And
content of the book? I basically want to say.
absolutely, absolutely. And that was the part that I struggled with because I didn't want to call women that. But it's like, hello, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Like, are we going
there
to
are people that set out to do that, to live that lifestyle.
and hello, such be some of us
Yeah, wow. Come
in the
through.
past.
Come
Like,
through.
so it's no shade, but
Right,
let's
right.
just be honest. So I will pull out, I'm reading from page 75. Turn
Okay,
in your book
okay.
to page 75.
75. Come on through, girl.
So there were a number of things that jumped out at me, and the first one I pulled out was be strange. It talked about her being a strange woman. Now, some of these are sort of like a play on words, but I just want you to sort of grab the principle. And
Okay.
so it made me think about Cameo. You remember that song with Cameo? Strange, and I like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
the way she is, walking down the avenue,
Yeah,
always trying something new.
yeah.
Sometimes the strange woman is so alluring because she is willing to be interesting,
Wow.
captivating. She's willing to try something new. And
Yeah.
so, one of the things I point out, sis, you gotta have everybody has a need for certainty, but everybody also has a need for spontaneity. Like,
Mm.
you can't be the same old all the time and expect, this goes for men and women, expect to keep your spouse
Wow.
excited. Like,
Wow, that's good.
you know what I mean? Like, if you always go left, go right. If you
That's
wear your part on the left side, wear it on the right side sometimes.
that's good. That's good.
You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Do something strange.
Do something new, exciting, interesting. Be interesting. Marriage
Spice
can
it up.
get really boring, but why does marriage get boring? Because you, sis, bro, are boring,
Are boring. Okay.
right? Okay. And so then the next thing that I brought out, and then after that, I bring in some tips about, okay, how can you rev up a little more interest and creativity and spontaneity in yourself, right? Because the only person that you can control is
It's
yourself. And I
yourself.
don't
Yeah.
know about you, I'm having a hard time doing that myself.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. The next thing was that she seduced him.
Wow.
How about we have spent so much time trying to keep the single people out the bed? But then when they get married, we got to drag the married people into the bed.
That is very true. That's
Like,
very true. We were
what's
counseling a
going on?
couple, Karen, that had not connected in over a year.
Yeah, like what is going on?
Yeah.
Listen, I tell it like a TI is, and I said with my husband right there. I got married for love. I got married for purpose. But baby girl, I got married to have sex.
Okay then. Okay. Yeah.
Lots of it, frequently and regularly.
Look, let me tell y'all something.
Can we stop playing with this? I mean,
That's very true. That's very true.
it wasn't my first rodeo. I was a single mother.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I was the preacher's kid who ended up pregnant, who had to go in front of the congregation and confess her sin and all of that. And that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother book, girl. Okay. Because
Okay.
that stuff doesn't even happen anymore.
Honey, but it happened to me.
It kind of happened to me too. So that's why we was related. I'm not a PK, but I'm a GPK. My
Hmm.
grandfather was the pastor.
Yeah,
Okay.
my father, my grandfather. You get with
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So now let me talk about that a little bit because there was a lot of shame that
Yes.
I held, not just from that, but because I was sexually violated as a child too.
Wow.
Right. So I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with not feeling good enough.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with feeling like damaged goods.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with all of those things that I thought I was over. And, when I met my husband, I was celibate. I was living holy. I was like, we really did everything they told us to do, right? And sometimes you're so used to saying no that you think as soon as you get married, it's going to be an automatic yes. It was not like that.
No, it's not. It's not. I have somebody that asked a question, said, is this only for married people? And I would say no to that. Can you address that, Karen? Because
The book.
sometimes no, even the segment. I don't know if it's the
Mhm,
segment she's talking to, or I don't know if it's she's talking about the book. But the truth is that there's teaching moments in every, and this is an anointed book. I know the title kind
mhm,
of catches you, but the bottom line is that uh, I think that so many single people, and I'm very sensitive to single people. Let me just say
mhm.
that I'm very sensitive to them because, but for grace and mercy, okay. I'm
Amen.
grateful. 34 years next week. But the bottom line is
Yeah.
that it's good to pick up the tools while you're waiting on the Lord. Can you
Mhm.
speak to that? Is this only for married people?
Absolutely not. See, and I always tell the single ladies, although I work exclusively with wives, I tell them the Bible says he who finds a wife, not a girlfriend, obtains favor with the Lord.
Okay.
So you as a single woman should already have the mindset, have cultivated to the best of your ability. Because let's be honest, can we just tell the truth? You don't know what you're getting into until you get into it.
Facts. Facts. Gotta pray. My baby girl just got married yesterday.
I
Thank God, a
know.
beautiful, beautiful
Congratulations.
wedding. But it is a learning, it's a training for service. Like you're learning as you go along. Yeah.
It is. Now, I definitely agree wholeheartedly with counseling
Yes.
before you get married. I think you need to go to counseling before you even get engaged. Because why are we going through all of this? The birds, the whole ceremony. You get down on one knee, and all 500 people there and propose, and you're not good for each other. Like,
Mhm.
let's not even get to engagement without going through
Yeah.
counseling to
Yeah.
just really work through some of those things. So I say that this book is for those women who are wives in waiting because you want to prepare yourself as much as you can with
Yeah.
the mindset, skill sets, and habits of a wife before you become one, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
while you're doing that, be in deep prayer for the man that God is sending you, that
Yeah.
he's preparing himself just
Yeah.
like you're preparing yourself. You, people who are waiting, wives in waiting, you need to have married friends who
Yeah.
can be a godly example for you, who can model what it is to be a happy wife,
Yes.
a submitted wife. And I do talk about submission in there because the church, we not that yeah, we are the church. Church people have jacked up submission, but I digress.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another
That's, and
conversation.
then sometimes submission is a bad word for people, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And, the, and
Wow.
the funny thing is, we submit all the time.
To everything and everybody and
All the
every a job. We submit all the time. So let's talk about this a little bit. I want you to address the hotholyhappy.com. Hot
time.
Holy Happy Wife Coach. Okay.
Hmm.
Tell us
Hmm.
about the three words together: hot, then holy, then happy.
Absolutely. So, it's funny because I was in a coaching program and they were telling me, I think it should be holy hot, happy. And I was like, nope, that's not how the Lord gave it to me. That side note, do what God tells you
Tells
to
you to
do.
do. Even if it sounds strange, right?
Do what God tells. So I start with the hotness because let's just be honest. Like, you might have been attracted to how he prayed and he was just godly, but if there's no spark, there's no fire.
Yeah.
Hello? If
Yeah.
I didn't look at you and was like,
You look
Lord,
good.
how
Yeah.
great are your works?
Yes.
Then, like, what is the point? Like, for real,
Yeah.
there has to be that attraction,
Yeah.
right? So I
Mhm.
talk about it because God made sex. So sex is important to God.
Yeah.
Hello? It
Yeah.
is not just for your procreation, it is for your recreation.
Okay. Oh, that's good. It's not for your
Okay.
procreation, it's for your recreation. Come
It's
on
for
through,
your
girl.
it is a vital means of communication in marriage. It connects you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I start with the hotness because the book is divided into three sections because God wants you to have great sexual chemistry and intimacy.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Hello? Okay. That there was a reason why Adam knew Eve, his wife. It was not just to have Cain and Abel and whatever other kids they had.
Y'all, if my face could be so red right now, it would be like so red.
Oh, girl,
Anyway,
I
come
can't
on,
see that
Kara.
every day. Come on now.
Okay.
Holding back. I'm holding back. No,
Okay.
but really, like the like I wholeheartedly believe that that is so important, that
Yeah.
that sexual chemistry and sexual
Yes.
intimacy, right? So then the holy is that spiritual oneness, that spiritual unity, right? That is the foundation of all intimacy, our spiritual unity and oneness. So how do we foster that? Right?
Yeah.
I give strategies in the book about how to do that because that is the core. That's the
Yeah.
core. Is it and it really starts with your relationship with God
Yeah.
because in every one of us is a God-shaped hole that only can be filled by God.
Mm.
Your
Mm.
your career can't fill it.
Mhm.
Your business, your ministry, man of God.
Okay.
With a D.
Yes.
Okay.
I just love it. Keep it real, girl. Keep it real.
I mean, on today, it cannot be filled by money. It cannot be filled by sex. I don't care how wonderful them booger kids are. It can't be filled by kids. It can only be filled by God, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because it,
Yes.
it is you and God, and then it's you and you. Hello, you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your relationship with yourself is the only lifelong relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay.
good.
So that spiritual unity and oneness and what flows out of that, how do you flow together spiritually, right? Because that's another big question that people ask me. I feel like, and because I focus a lot on empty nester Christian wives, a lot of them are at a place where they're like, we want to leave a godly legacy.
Yeah.
I want to know what God is having us do together. Like you all, what you and your husband do is so magnificent and such beautiful kingdom work, because you are not just impacting husbands and wives, you're impacting children, grandchildren, great
Legacy.
whole legacies.
Yeah. Whole legacy.
So that's why the work is such precious work in the eyes of God. And I just want to thank you all for
Wow.
the example that you are to me and to thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, because you don't know who's watching you. Somebody been watching you,
That's
never
true.
commented, never said anything, but they've been watching you,
Yeah, yeah, that
right?
is so true. That is so true. Well, if you guys are watching, I want you all to go on and follow Karen on Facebook, hotholyhappy.com. And you also can go to her website, karenhaysbert.com, where if you all want to have Karen to come and speak at your women's ministry, at your women's conference, or your marriage retreats, your marriage getaways, this is something good. A lot of people have those toy parties and different things like that. Why not do something different and have the wife coach, the hot holy happy wife coach, to come and minister to you, and and really be able to speak volumes to the
Mhm.
areas where we need to change. And this book can teach us something. And look, she didn't take it out of her own head. Karen took it out of Proverbs. Come on through. And went ahead
Yeah.
and taught us something. Okay. I have the book. Get your copy today. You all want to go and get the book. It's available on Amazon.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
What a
is.
Hope to Teach Your Wife by author Karin Haysbert. You guys go to karenshaysbert.com. So, Karen, I want to just, as we come to a close, I really just want to know, how do you teach a wife who's been struggling for so many years in their marriage, not just with intimacy physically, but intimacy emotionally, intimacy spiritually, and are just really struggling. And some have even ended in divorce and they're discouraged,
Mm.
and they're like, Lord, why did this happen to me? I didn't know this was going to be my journey. What would you say to that wife? And how can you encourage wives today who are really struggling right now because of infidelity, because of
Mhm.
areas where they've taken it on as that is their fault, or they're carrying the shame and the pain? What can you say to them today?
Okay, so first thing is I'm sorry that you're having this experience,
Yeah.
right? No one gets married wanting to have a miserable marriage, because guess what? That's what I had. I was desperately unhappy,
Wow.
desperately.
Wow.
Um and and had worn the mask for years,
Wow.
right? Because when the church that we went to, it was almost like a shame. Why are you at the altar? You know what I mean? When
Yes. Oh, that sounds familiar.
and it's like, hello, we just because we are ministering, don't get it twisted. We need to be ministered to.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of times, the thing you struggle with is the thing what you're here
Misery.
to learn. You're here to teach.
Yes. Yes. Your misery is your ministry. Yes.
It most certainly is. And so what I would say to those women is to not lose hope, that
Yeah.
none of this is a surprise to God,
Yeah.
that all of this God is going to use for his glory, but he needs your hands and your heart. He
Yeah.
needs for you to believe again
Yeah.
that he is indeed working all things together
Yes.
for your good.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know how the molestation was going to work together for my good, but it did.
Mm.
I didn't know how
Some
the
hard.
domestic violence relationship that I was in with my son's father was going to work together for my good, but it did.
Wow.
I didn't know how years of misery. Like sometimes you go through a rough patch. No, I'm talking about years of misery in my marriage. I didn't know we would make it to 26 years.
Wow.
Okay? Cuz all of the people who got married when we got married, they were dropping like flies at year 5.
Wow. Wow.
Like every single one. There's one couple I haven't seen in a while. I don't know if they are, but like flies. And I
Wow.
was like, God, I was like the fly on the screen. Let me out. Let me out. But I just want to say that God has a plan for your life, and
Yeah.
it's a good plan. And really don't focus on your marriage first. Focus on you
Yes.
and healing your heart and renewing your faith that God has a good plan for you and your belief that He's going to bring goodness and sweetness out of all of this.
Yes.
Just start there. With
Yeah.
God, here I am. This is how I'm feeling. Minister to my heart and breathe hope and life into it again. Okay. Because contrary to what some people say, God does want you to be happy. That's the third part of the book.
Yes. God does want you to
He
be
does.
happy. Yes.
He does. That John 10:10 life is a whole, it is my whole theme, the theme of my life, that Jesus came amplified, that we might have and enjoy life in abundance to the full till it overflows.
Yes.
That's his intention, his desire. So that's what I had to hang on to. That God, you really have a good plan and you really want me to enjoy my life and you really want to bring blessing out of all of this. So,
Yes.
God, I just surrender to you.
Yes.
Whew, it makes me want to cry. I just surrender it all to you.
Yes.
Show me what to do, Father.
Yes.
And God brought people into my life. He spoke to me directly. I just began to surrender it all to God. It's surrender.
Yeah.
That's the first step, surrender.
That's so huge.
Mhm.
Wow, 30 minutes goes by so fast, but I just want to say I know that so many people have been blessed and will be blessed after they watch the replay of this. This is a whole ministry. This is a whole ministry.
Mhm.
So like I said, you guys, you all go to www.karenhaysbert.com. You also can go follow Karen on Facebook at hotholyhappywife.com, hotholyhappy.com.
Yes.
Definitely. And if you are looking for someone amazing, anointed, and powerful and impactful to come and be a guest or speak at your women's conference, at your women's getaway, at your marriage conference, please reach out to Karen. You will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for this, Karen. And thank you.
Thank
Show your
you.
book one more time. I think you all should go purchase this book. Yeah, what a hoe could teach a wife, you know what I mean? And it's based out of the spirit of the strange woman in Proverbs. But Karen teaches us how to be a hot, holy, happy wife and live in the fullness and the abundance. Come on, John 10 and 10.
Yes.
Life more abundantly. Come on through. Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for today.
Thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate you. I love you.
I love you
And
too,
I just
girl.
decree God's blessings and
Thank
favor on your
you.
life.
Thank you.
That not 30, 60, 100, but the thousandfold that Genesis
I
talked about.
received that, girl. I received
All of that.
all of it. Thank you so much. Well, hold tight until next time, you guys. It's been a pleasure this day because we haven't been here in a while, but I'm so excited to be back here next Saturday. So we'll see you guys next Saturday morning. Please share. Please share with someone that may needed to hear this ministry today. It will bless them and it will bless you. Until next time, join Nisha's Network, nishasnetwork.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have a great day. Hang tight, Karen. Hold fast.